All right. We're back here. So I'm gonna teach y'all motherfuckers how to trade with Danny. Alright? So listen up. Let me take off all of this stuff right here. So what's got you wanting to trade, man? Is it the money? Is it the time freedom? What is it? Ask yourself first. I'll give you a moment. Alright, did you answer? Alright, cool. So now that you answered that, I'm gonna teach y'all motherfuckers how to trade and make that dream come to a reality. So, first of all, how the fuck do I clear all this shit off again, man? It's all drawings, man. Just hide that. Alright, cool. So do you know what you're looking at here? This is QQQ. What is QQQ? It tracks the NASDAQ 100, which is the 100 biggest tech stocks. Okay, so I trade QQQ. I don't do no bullshit with the penny stocks. I trade options on big names because that's what has the volume. That's what makes the money. Okay? SPY. So these two are your big indicators when you're trading options. This tells you the overall market. The S&P 500 is the 500 biggest stocks in the US. And bear with me, I'm just freeballing the fuck out of this, so I may just ramble sometimes. But S&P 500, as you can see, people invest in shares long term. Why? Because over time, it tends to go up. Makes sense, right? Makes sense for shareholding. Where's the real money made? Real money is made in options or futures. If you're a day trader, options you can hold long term. Futures you can also hold long term, but you're going to have a hefty commission price to pay at the end. Okay? So, depending on your broker, that's going to be your commission. And depending on the book that you have, CME or what's the other one? Q, whatever the fuck it is whatever. But depending on that, that's what going to be the commission that you pay and also the margin required. But, anyways, we're learning options and how to read a chart. Okay, so we'll get into that shit later. Do you know what these are called? These green and red things here. Okay. Maybe. Maybe you answer candlestick. Maybe you say you don't know. It's a candlestick. Candlestick is the right answer, okay? So, candlestick, just we're on the daily chart. So, each candle represents the time period of one day. Okay. What do these mean? Let's find a nice looking candle so I can really describe it to you. Or maybe I'll just draw. Yeah, let me draw to really explain the basics of a candlestick. Where's my little pen tool? Come on, man. Drawing tool. You dumb ass fucker. Alright, motherfucker. Alright, stop that. I guess all the lines are gonna appear. We'll get to that later. The basics first. A candlestick. Let's make this a up candle, which you probably know as green. Why the fuck do they not have green? I don't know. Retarded. They got red, but maybe that is green. Why are you changing, man? Okay, just keep it. Alright, whatever. You get the point. Anyways, so here is what a candle looks like. We're gonna do an up candle. So here you have a body of a candle. Let's imagine this is green. Maybe I could change it here to green. Okay. So this is when price is going up. Okay. And then let's go back to the drawing tool. And I don't know why it's blue. But so right, you're going to have that there. And why is it not showing? Anywho. Okay. That's what you're going to call a wick, right? So you have the body, and then you have these lines coming out of the candle, which is considered a wick. What is a wick? A wick is just where price has gone within the specified time. So in this time, it's been a day. So if it's a green candle, price opened up at the bottom of the body and traveled down here and up here. So this is where price had gone within the day. That's what the wicks show, is the range of price. Okay? The body represents where price opened up at the beginning of the day. This is a green candle, so it opens at the bottom, and it closed that day at this level, which is where the top of the body is closed at. Okay? So a green candle, up, so an up candle, price opens, price close. That's what the body represents. Bottom is the close, write that down. Top of the body is the, or sorry about that, this is a green candle. Fuck, I'm fucking y'all up. I just know I am. But bottom of the body on a green candle is the open, where price opened up at. And then the top on a green candle is where price closed at. Write that down. Green candle, bottom of body, open. Green candle, top of body, price closed. So that is where price ended at the end of the day, right? Price may have gone up to 855. Let's say here, look on the right side, that's what price is. So $855. Price may have gone up there, but at the end of the day, came back down and ended at $843. Okay? On a red candle, let's get the same marker. Okay? So let's say this is a red candle right here, and it's doing the thing again. All right. Keep my patience here. Boom. Boom. Okay. Let's change that. We're gonna stop. Well, I don't know what happened there, but looks like we're just fucking off now. Okay. That looks exactly like what we're gonna do. Okay, so we're in a fucking... Thank the good Lord above. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. I apologize. Anyways, let's do the same thing. Oh, fuck, I should just use that same one. Anyways, alright. Alright. Fuck it. Y'all get the point, right? Okay, cool. Alright, let's change this to red. Right, a red candle. Okay. Red candle, same thing, same principle with it, except it's flipped. Price opened up here and closed below here on the day. So that is on a down candle. What is on the green candle? What does this represent? What does the bottom of the body represent? It represents where price opened, okay, on a green candle. What does the top of the body represent on a green candle? Okay, where price closed during the day, okay. What do these wicks represent? Where price had gone within the day, okay. What does this represent on a red candle? Where price opened up at, yep, correct. What does this represent down here on a red candle? Where price had closed during the day, or at the end of the day, where price closed at. Okay, so now that we understand candles, watch that again if you didn't understand, but I hope I did a good enough job explaining. So now we're going to hide all these fucking lines because they're retarded. Not really, I love the lines, but you don't need them for this video. We're just teaching the basics. All right, QQQ. Remember, this is the NASDAQ 100. It's tracking that. So this is a very reputable stock to trade. You can see all these other ones on the side. These are just other companies within SPY and QQQ. So I trade those as well. CrowdStrike, that is a Dow stock. That's not in these. That's this one right here, DIA, the Dow. I don't really trade DIA. It just moves, I just moves so slow, so it's not worth it. QQQ has been moving faster lately. SPY SPY is a little less volatile. QQQ is going to be your more volatile one. So this is what I trade during the day, really. But as you can see, these are your candlesticks. So again, if you can let me know what these represent. What does this represent right here on this candle? Open price, okay? What does this wick represent? Price probably opened there and then came down first, created that wick, and then started climbing up, right? Probably traveled up here and then closed down here. That's probably exactly what happened. Again, those are what candles are. Red candle, let me know again, the same thing. Price opened at the top of the red candle and closed at the bottom of the red body of the candle, okay? The wicks where price went. Pretty simple, right? Alrighty. So now do you understand candles? And then you probably want to know, like, how do you know where price is going to go? Well, there's a system to it, right? So my system is I use EMA clouds. So this is exponential moving averages. So this is really just kind of where price, I don't really fucking know. I just know that they work, and I know that they work as resistances and supports. That's what I know. If it fails, I'm out. If it doesn't fail, you let it ride. You let it ride your exponential moving averages. That's just kind of how price is moving within the intraday. They do have, so they have EMAs, and then they have moving averages, which are just MAs. So moving averages is taking longer periods of time. So if we wanted to hide this, I can show you kind of the difference here between EMAs and then moving averages. There's some other moving averages as well. I've seen people use WMAs. I know those are similar to the EMAs. I don't use those because I don't really know what they are. I just know that my EMAs work. You can see how price rides the EMAs. And then when it doesn't ride the EMAs, like let's say you're in a trade from here. Let's say you get in a trade right here at this 519 level. Let's say you're going long, which means you expect price to move up. So let's say you buy in the cloud and you're expecting price to come up here to take out this high, 535, right? You would ride your trade up until it breaks below the cloud right here. So once it breaks below the cloud, trend is more likely to change, right? Obviously you have higher time frames to where it's pretty much just riding the clouds the whole time. As we can see, trend changed. So, right, I mean, you could have been in long-term option calls. If you 162, far out of the money, 400 calls, you could have just taken that and let it ride the EMA clouds. That's why I use them. Because if we're in trend, we're just going to ride them. And it's just simple. Once you break below, you're out of the trade because it's a trend change. But anyways, let me get back. Like I said, I'm just freeballing this. So I was just kind of rambling sometimes, but there's a system to this. And so my system is when you enter a trade, it's going to be on the cloud when the clouds are compressed and looking like they're wanting to break out. Okay. And then you would just ride the trade. So in this instance, I would take a call to 714 to all-time highs. And I actually did do that. As we held support here at 705, I have levels here. Again, how do I show it? Drawings. Okay, so right, I have levels here, and these levels represent areas of past support and resistance, or they're gap levels. So see how this is more than likely going to be some gap levels up here. Yep, exactly. So these are gap levels. So this is where price had created, see this big gap here? That's just where price had created a gap at. And so you mark the end of a day where it closed on the hourly. So we can go to the hourly close, right? As you can see, I just mark the close of the day, and that's what I use as a support level. So as you can see in the past, where I marked the close of this green candle on the hourly, because the close is at the top of a green candle, right? So you would mark that at the end of the day. Red candle, opposite, you mark the close, which is at the bottom of the body. And so these are just levels I use as support and resistance levels, so you can see how price has reacted at these different levels. So here we came down, and we didn't quite come down to 694, but we did use this area of support. So just kind of see how price, it's either rejecting or supporting it, and you just have to read how price action looks. So there's other ways that you can do that as well. You can use book maps to see where orders are, or you can use deltas, which is you can see delta footprints, which is just where the orders are in the exact moment, what they're coming from. But you can see these different levels I have. I also use 4-hour levels, which where big pivot areas are, you always want to be looking at, can we reject there or can we break past it? Like here, this big, see how we came up once and we came up a second time. We rejected it once, twice. Third time, we broke through, and just market went berserk. But let me see if I can find kind of a better example at 4-hour levels. This just tracks overall time performance, so it's always going to go up. AMD's a great, Meta's a great representation of 4-hour pivots. So see where price has come here, it's come twice, and always rejected it 3 times. 3 times. And I know I talked to Aiden about the Meta play I was in. So Meta, as of now, the reason I got into it was because of the 600 hold, and he saw the screenshots. I guess I could send some too. But in a day, you're already up off of that 620 bounce, so there's good plays everywhere. 4 hours, see this 600 level. You just got to use these 4-hour pivots, or you could always use a 700 level, like just whole numbers. You can see where it's held 700 here a few times, right? Even here, it's rejected a little bit. Oh gosh. Hopefully you guys understand candles. I've really got to really understand what I look at during the intraday for when I'm trading is I look at price action. So, if I'm looking right here, first of all, when I'm trading, I always look at the daily trend, weekly trend, right? Let me show you something that looks really good, which you always want to be positioned in. Is if we go on this 4-hour or this weekly, right? Look at this high time frame. This is what you call consolidation. So the bigger the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. Right? You can see that. MRVL as you can see here on the weekly, this is all consolidation to where price is just kind of, closing in. It's flagging here. A flag is this exactly. So, let's say this is the post of a flag, okay? And then trend line. And then just see how price is kind of consolidating, getting smaller. What does that look like? It looks like a flag, right? And so out of these flags, when price is really consolidated, it needs to make a move either down or up. And so you really need to see how price is reacting. So if price looks strong and you break out of this this resistance area. See how price, it broke out and then came and retested the breakout? And I know Aiden's seen some of that stuff online. This is really what you want to look at though. So these flags where it's consolidating is huge moves. Just like this, you could call this a flag, right? I see how we rejected this 125 area once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Came down, right? You could call that sort of a flag. I would say potentially it is, but right, a flag, you really want to come down on the flag. You don't want to keep going up on the flag, although there are times where it works. But this is a picture perfect flag here. So this is a bull flag. A bull is someone who thinks price goes up. A bear is someone who thinks price goes down because bears hibernate, go down. Anywho. But a bull flag, a bear flag would just be the opposite. So it would be, see if we can find one. I mean, potential right here for, you know, just a smaller little breakdown. But not really a flag. It's just more of a pullback in the consolidation. So right, but you can see here, see this flag. It's just the opposite of a bull flag. This is a bear flag. This is a bull flag, right? And see how price breaks down out of the flag. Boom. You could have taken calls. As you can see, price. See, look, these are big tells too. See how price in the past had come up to this level at, I want to say around this 80 level, this 75, 80 area. See how price in the past, we consolidated here, rejected, and then finally broke out. And then you can always use those past resistances where price has rejected. Rejection is a resistance. A support is where price has, you know, bounced off of, like here. So let's say this area here. Let me just mark it out. Where my dang rectangle, right? So you can say this sort of area right here. I mean, you can always use this as a, you know, support resistance area. As you can see, what once was resistant, where price was rejecting off of and finally broke out of, is now using as a support to where, okay, now we're going to come down, boom, boom, boom. So 3, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, really four big rejections on the weekly. And if it's like that, if it's been in this consolidation for this flag really for over, what is that, 4 months? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How long is that, dude? That's a massive consolidation. You're gonna have a massive breakout. As you can see, it's exactly what happened after you used your area of big resistance as a support. And then see what happened when you actually broke out of that. When you broke out of that resistance here, you made a huge move. Huge. From, let's say 75 to 122. Do you know what the return on that? Let's say you bought calls for like 2 months out. Even if you did that, like here when you see, you know, EMAs starting to expand, get wider after the consolidation period, you can see that. And honestly, you'd want to break out of this level here and then retest it. So see this high? This is what I would be doing. I would be looking at a break of that high, because obviously you could still come up and reject it. See, like that candle right there, that's ugly because that shows, okay, price had gone up into that area, but then came back down, right? That means sellers are in control. You can see the same thing here where price went up there but rejected hard, okay? And so sellers are in control. They bring it back down, consolidate us. Okay, make another move down, right? So that candle, honestly, it would scare me a little bit, right? It's a green candle, so we have the potential to go up and back because obviously we opened here, we came up here, but there were sellers that brought it down here, but we were able to hold. It's different here because we opened up high, right? We opened up high, we came up here and rejected hard, and then we came and closed below the high. So obviously during that week, that's going to be a very just kind of, probably started off strong and then just got weak during the rest of the week. And so you want to look out for that. Same thing here. These are what you call inverse hammer candles. So a hammer candle would be where you see price like this, right? That's a hammer candle. They have different candles, okay? So we learned candles. You dumb fucking son of a bitch. Anyways, we'll just use a rectangle. It's probably going to be fucking easier. And then, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to build a hammer candle for you. So let's say this is a green candle. Here's a hammer candle. Just pretend it's green. Okay, this is a hammer candle. Price opened up here and closed here on this green candle. Okay. That means price opened here. Sellers tried to bring it down, but the buyers were in so much control that they brought price up here after it went down. Buyers stepped in and controlled price, wanting to push higher. If we reverse that into a red candle, what is that telling you? One second. Say it's a red candle. What is that telling you? That's telling you that, okay, price opened here. Buyers tried to step in and push price higher, but there were too many sellers up at this area and they brought price back down, right? If you're in a consolidation and you see that, especially, look at this picture perfect thing. Look at that. Price rejected here. It rejected again and then pushed price down. You want to look at these things, okay? And then you can see right here, right? We're using this support now. This once was a rejection area where it was hard for price to get above, right? And every time it tried to get above, it came back down into this other level of support. And just see this like range area. Look at this area, dude. I can do such a good analysis. Oh my goodness. Look at this range area, bro. See where price is just kind of ranging. That's good. You want to look for consolidation areas because what happens after the consolidation is you look at breakouts, right? Especially on the higher time frames. We took 4 months or whatever it is. I'm not counting those fucking candles, but we took a long time to break out of that. And it was huge. It was massive. See, right? That's a good looking chart. If you take away this, right, you see this flag and you see you're holding this area of support right here in this. Dude, you're going to look to take out, first of all, the high right here. See that high? Once you break out of the flag or this level, this sort of area, and then see how you can break out, and you want to make sure you hold the breakout first. So if you can hold the breakout, it's all mathematical. If you're gonna hold the EMAs, you're gonna hold the EMAs, and you're gonna wait for a breakout. Okay. So let's say we bought calls for if I'm going to do long-term calls, I'm going to hold them, that week. And if we're not doing what I want in that week, I'm going to exit and I'm going to reposition. But MRVL, that had huge news. That's what ripped it. Oracle, we can look at other charts here. Look at this. This is picture perfect here. Okay. Why did I just mark this? Tell me, why did I mark that? Look at what price does in this area, man. Uses it as support or resistance. Come on. It's easy. What else would I mark here? I'm on the weekly time frame too. So these are big resistances and supports. Big time. Oracle. Look at this. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing a flag. I'm seeing a small flag. I'm seeing a motherfucking bull flag. And see how it broke out? So actually, I'm looking at this now. If we can if we can hold this 195 area, you bet your ass I'm gonna be in calls up to this high right here. We'll be in 225s probably. Let's ride it, baby. Actually, oh my god, you look good, mate. Look at this candle, bro. Look at that candle format. Is this getting you excited? Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go to the daily, man. Oh, just beautiful, man. Just beautiful. Look at that beautiful flag, man. Go to the 4 hour. Just gets me horny thinking about it. Dude, if we can hold this. Oh, and then we have an unfilled gap. All gaps must be filled, by the way. So see how price still hasn't come up to it? It's got to still be filled. Let me fill you. Okay. Oh man, Tesla too. I'm waiting to come back into this area. So if we can hold 400, because what we broke out of this 400 level, broke out of 400, used that as resistance here a few times. I want to see if we can come back, really hold it, especially on the daily. I think is where we didn't come and retest it, or the weekly. And then look at that candle, bro. Look at that weekly. That's just disgusting. That looks disgusting, bro. Like, that looks like it can come down far. Like, far. Like, to 300. Far. It probably won't. I would love to just see a hold of a candle, this 390 level, 400. If we hold that, I'm going to see about maybe a flag, a nice little flag here around this 400 level. If we get that 400 level hold, and then we're looking at price, and I'm seeing price is strong on, on our SP, on our other stocks. Tesla might just do it. Tesla might just do 500, 550. If we could do that. Because, when Tesla goes, it likes to go. And so I might get, some... Well, that's the thing too, man. It's like everything just kind of needs a pullback. See how when we're away from the EMAs, exponential moving average, and then VWAP, which is volume weighted average price. I can tell you exactly what volume weighted average price is. That's just what the price of the stock is kind of averaged at the moment. So we have these top bands and bottom bands, and then this middle one is the real VWAP. So price will always come back to it. Price always returns to VWAP. You can just tell. Sometimes it just stays at VWAP. Sometimes it uses it as a support level and bounces off of it. VWAP is just average price of the stock. Volume weighted average price. Oh, that video looks bad. Looks like you can come back to this 219, 222 level, 220. I do want to see a hold of 220, to be honest. Because, let's see, right? We broke it. We didn't retest 220. This weekly chart is looking ugly. See, look at that. Look how far we are from the EMAs. So, right, if we can come here to this 200 level, 205, or even just where we broke out of, kind of this area right here. It's 210. Let's say 210. 210 area. Yeah. Let's just hold 210, right? As you can see, 210. Price on daily, broke out of here, came in, retested on this daily candle. Really is 213, 210. I don't even know how long I've been streaming for. It might have been too long now, but anyways, hopefully that's a little bit more understanding on what candles are. If you want to know more, I mean, I'm down to hop on a call and just kind of go over the stuff. Anywho. What? Am I even recording, man? Land flipping. Bro, what?